Welcome to Bits and Bytes Live, the short conversations that we have on a fairly regular basis, where we look at some of the stories relevant to the communication service provider industry. My name is Nigel Stevenson. I am Director of Market Development for Europe, Middle East and Africa in VMware's Service Provider and Edge Business Unit. And in the week of MWC, we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the collaboration that's been going on, and in particular some collaboration between Intel, VMware and Altiostar in the areas of Open RAN and vRAN. And this is actually the third of a series of sessions where we're going to be focusing on the evolution of the RAN. So what I'd like to do is introduce my distinguished panel of guests, and I'm going to read some of these titles because otherwise I will trip over them. So we've got Anil Bandari, who is Vice President of Product Management at Altiostar. We have Francis Chow, Vice President, Operations, Business Development and Strategy at VMware, like myself within the Service Provider and Edge Business Unit. And Cristina Rodriguez, Vice President and General Manager of the Wireless Access Network Division at Intel. So welcome everybody, thank you for joining me. Before we begin, what I should probably tell people who are listening in is that what we're talking about today, as I say, I think I mentioned, it's been triggered by some collaboration that's been going on. And that collaboration actually has culminated in a demonstration, a technical demonstration that we've recorded, along with some solution information and so on, that is available to you, kindly hosted by Intel. So as we go through this session, you should see a URL appear at the bottom of the screen. If you follow that URL, it will take you to the demonstration itself and the materials. So if you want to have a look at what we're talking about, go to that site and please have a look. And it varies from fairly deep technical, if you're involved in configuring these services, through to solution overviews, if you just want to get a flavor of what this area is looking at. So with that, Francis, can I come to you first of all? I mentioned this is about collaboration. I could have also said this is part of a series on ecosystems and community, because we're doing that as well. And these two overlap here, but it is about collaboration. We've got Altiostar, we've got Intel, we've got VMware. Can you give us a little bit of a background as to where this has come from? Is this new? Has it been going on for a while? What's triggered what we're talking about today?
Oh, absolutely, Nigel. So I will start by telling you about our ecosystem strategy, which is to open up the ecosystem to new players and more players so that we can accelerate innovation. VMware, Intel, and Altiostar, we are all part of the ORAN Alliance, as we believe openness can drive innovation faster. Now, talking about Intel and VMware, we have been long-term partners across a wide range of solutions. The RAN partnership, actually, if I think about it, the conversation started probably about 18 months ago. And after a couple of conversations, we quickly realized that both companies really aligned on the same objectives to accelerate 5G. And we believe that when we join forces, we could help move the market forward faster. So after many discussions on how we're going to collaborate, where we're going to collaborate on RAN, we formally announced our partnership about a year ago. For Altiostar, we have been watching the company for a while. We really, what caught our attention was their capabilities and potential in the space. And since then, we have had good discussions. I remember actually, it was last MWC in LA. I met with the team at Altiostar, almost 2 years ago. Time really flies. And since then, right, what really brought us together was the dish opportunity, right? Bringing Intel, Altiostar and VMware together as we work to build the first end-to-end cloud-native 5G network for the for Dish. And we have really strengthened our collaboration with this customer and have since have additional joint customer engagements. And today we have a fully validated vRAN solution with Intel and Altiostar for 5G. I would look at it as a three-layer cake, right? VMware, Intel has the hardware platform, VMware has the software infrastructure, and Altiostar has the radio functions running on top with Intel vRAN. And I'm really excited about this partnership, and I can't wait to see what we can accomplish together.
Excellent. That's brilliant background. Thank you for that, Francis. That really positions it nicely. So we're talking about this demonstration. I think actually you mentioned the fact that a lot of this has come from a collaboration with Dish as sort of a central focus. So maybe we shouldn't call it a demonstration. Maybe we should call it an illustration or something, because this is real world, right? But Anil, for the purposes of what we've recorded, what people can go look at, can you just maybe just summarize what people will see if they go and look at the demonstration? What are we actually showing?
So Nigel, as Francis mentioned, right, we have been working together for more than a year now. And what we have done is Altiostar has implemented virtual RAN solution, where we have disaggregated and containerized various network functions. So when anybody comes to see this demo, what they will find is that there are 3 different network functions in which we have disaggregated our vRAN, which is CU-CP, DU, and CU-UP. And in this demo, what we are showing is that how these network functions are onboarded with VMware TCP RAN, instantiated, onboarded, and then we also show zero-touch provisioning, which is what we have implemented. It's closed-loop zero-touch automation, and this shows the benefit of one of the benefits of vRAN, whereby operators don't have to do any manual commissioning for the radio cell sites. So it's all one click. They just turn on the radio, and the commissioning happens automatically within a few minutes.
And is that so that one-click ability, if that's a word, is that? Do you see that as the benefit, a primary benefit? Because there's other things that this, I guess, opens up in terms of flexibility and use of capacity in the network and things like that.
Absolutely. So that's the reason I said that in the demo you see just one benefit of the vRAN.
Right.
That's tip of the iceberg. But as such, I mean, vRAN brings multiple benefits. Including, some benefits are coming through disaggregation, because with the disaggregation, it is now possible for experts in the respective domains to contribute their solutions. So that is one benefit. The other benefit that we are getting through vRAN is through the automation, which is now possible through the data model-driven implementation and APIs. So that is another benefit, that is a big benefit that is coming from vRAN, and that leads to huge, OpEx savings. Mm-hmm. So overall, I mean, we believe that where things are today with the revenues plateauing, right? The growth in the human-centric communication has slowed down, and machine-centric communication driven by the enterprise is going to be the norm of the day. And that's where the operators need to really re-architect their networks, and they should have the ability to address complex use cases and automation demands of the enterprises. So that's where vRAN becomes very, very important. Overall virtualization becomes.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for that. And that's yes, that automation and the more of the need for automation, and I guess the flip side of that is that what we're talking about here can start to look quite complex, I guess. So being able to automate it is not a nice to have. It's actually a requirement in order to move these environments forward. So I mean, if I come on to Christina then and follow up on that. So you're coming at this obviously from an Intel perspective. So you've actually got quite a broad view of the vendor landscape, the customers that ultimately benefit from this, be it the service provider or their customer, in fact. Can you give us some of your insights as to to how you're seeing this development of vRAN and ORAN and this sort of disaggregation in the RAN. How is that happening? Is it accelerating? Is it related to other things? What's the Intel perspective?
Well, I tell you, it is happening. We are seeing a tremendous momentum in the industry. We are seeing major operators, multiple major operators, making statements, making it very clear their intentions to virtualize the RAN or open the RAN in one way or another in the near future. We're seeing the operators are realizing. We talk about the benefits of having a virtualized, a cloud native architecture. We mentioned some of it. Anil mentioned something. The excellence in automation, the flexibility, the scalability, the agility. Just being able to inherit all the benefits of a cloud architecture. We can go on forever, right? Resilience, agility, observability, all that together. The thing is, we've been in this journey for years, right? This more a decade ago, this virtualization transformation started with the core, and then now is extending to the RAN. And for years, when it comes to the RAN, we did proof of concepts, we did labs, we did trials. But the thing is that at this point, today, the technology has been proven, being able to run the wireless workload, the RAN workload on a general purpose processor, Intel Xeon scalable processor, with a software-defined infrastructure, with a soft RAN implementation of the functions in using network function virtualization and cloud native network functions. That is being proven. Everybody believes that that's ready. There are KPIs, there are data points coming from the industry. So it's happening. It's taking off, and we will continue seeing this in the future. We just, hitting our strides here. We'll see this continue. We are seeing deployments, by the way, commercial deployments at a scale in 2021 in both greenfield and brownfield. And what we have done together is an example of what the VMware and Altiostar and Intel have done together, working with Dish. Tremendous accomplishment there, but also very important for the acceleration of virtualization in the industry and for demonstrating what the technology is capable and the maturity of the technology. So we'll continue seeing that. There's many data points in the context of even, if you just look at all the announcements at a Mobile World Congress, Barcelona in the last week. Dish is an example, of course, but also Reliance Jio working with us on 5G, Deutsche Telekom using our FlexRAN architecture. There is also a lot of innovation happening. And we see many companies doing really in the ecosystem, doing really cool things, such as, for example, Cohere in the spectrum efficiency. So it's tremendous momentum, and it's a really good thing for the industry.
Excellent. I love your enthusiasm. That's brilliant. And and you mentioned Cohere as an example as well. And I think that's that again, coming back to what Anil was saying, is one of the, it's not just being able to deploy a function or a service, it's being able to stimulate the ecosystem, the innovators to come along and add their innovation on top. So I think, Anil, you mentioned that, I can't remember the term you used, but you've got the specialists, you've got the people who focus on a particular area. We're seeing more specialists specializing in things perhaps we didn't know were specialties before, because it's generating that ecosystem of innovators, and they have a place to then deploy their technologies and a way of consuming it. I guess that comes back to the APIs, and having a way of plugging in this technology in a way that I guess we weren't able to do before. So yeah, it's very exciting times, I think. I'll probably maybe ask one last question, and ask all of you to comment maybe, which is, in this particular situation we're talking about here, we've got a demonstration which happens to be focused on RAN and ORAN, Open RAN. It's running on the TCP RAN platform from VMware. It's very tightly integrated with the FlexRAN and Intel solutions. So you could look at this as a vertical stack, I guess, if you wanted to, but a multi-vendor stack. But it's a much wider. I think the significance is wider than that. And I'm interested in your views as to, if people go and look at the demonstration, they read about the solution, what do you think people should take away, either from this as a specific demonstration, or just the fact even that this kind of thing is now happening? What would you be thinking people should take away from this? Christina, do you want to start on that one?
Sure, I get us started. So number one for me is technology is ready. This is ready, this is happening, and we just seen the beginning of it, but this is happening. The second thing that I would say is the importance of the collaboration, such as what we have done with between VMware, Altiostar, and Intel. We are talking about, I think there's three important things that happen here. Number one, three experts in especially focusing in their areas are coming together: the software-defined infrastructure and virtualization, the soft RAN implementation, the processors and cloud architecture expertise comes together, work together, do pre-integration. That just right there gives you time to market benefits and reducing in risk. So that's one thing. But then also, it's the learnings that come from that. We work together, we collaborate in one specific project or multiple projects, and those learnings can be applied throughout the industry. It's learnings that we need to take and apply. And then the number three things I would say is the innovation. We are unleashing a tremendous amount of innovation that we are just starting to see.
Excellent. Francis, any thoughts from you to add to Christina's?
Yeah, I would add that in the end, it's all about customers, right? And how we advance the society. And if you look at the service providers, right, if you just think about the basic stuff, fundamentally they want to accomplish two things, right? They want to modernize the network to reduce the total cost of ownership, and they want to monetize their investment to grow their revenue, right? Now, this joint solution that we put together really address these two needs. On modernization, as Neil has talked about earlier, right? This solution really provides consistent operations, management, zero-touch provisioning, automates network function deployment, addresses securities, right? We really allowed these key needs to be addressed with this joint solution. And I would add one thing, which is this solution also allows the service provider to start with vRAN now, today, and evolve to ORAN later using the same platform and solution, right? So they can actually future-proof their investment with this solution. Now, last point on monetization. The platform not only runs vRAN functions, but they can also host 5G applications, right? So, which means it really allows the service providers to deploy new services quickly in the future to help them generate revenues, which will feed back to the loop to prompt more innovations in the society and industry.
Excellent. Thank you, Francis. And Anil, any observations you want to add? You're probably going to struggle to find extras now, but what would you add to that?
Right. So Christina and Francis have covered most of the key takeaways. But I think one thing, few things I would like to point out. One is that the RAN has been softwareized. RAN is now available as a software. So innovation can now happen in software. Operators can come out of the cycle of hardware replacement to the cycle of innovation, right, in software. So I think that's very important takeaway. The other thing I would like to highlight is that this solution shows that everything is integrated end to end. Many a times operators have this concern with this disaggregation. How are they going to now put the solution again? Because they have to now put the things back. And here is the solution where everything is integrated and it goes well beyond what they achieved through the traditional RAN. So that is the second very important aspect. And third, of course, we touched upon it earlier, which is the automation aspect, that they can see how the closed loop automation is working.
Excellent, excellent. And I mean, you mentioned you used a few terms there, CUs, DUs, and so on earlier on. I could just remind people we did one of these sessions a couple of weeks ago or so about demystifying the RAN, and Sachin Katti from our side and the ORAN Alliance, he went through some of the terminology. So apologies to people if some of the terminologies isn't resonating, but there are other sessions and we can help you out if that's the case. Listen, thank you ever so much, all of you, for taking part. I really appreciate the time that you've made available. I think, as I say, if people want to go have a look at that demo or the material that describes it, I think it's a really good real world example based on real world experience. So it is worth having a look, whether you're looking at it at the technical level and hands-on, or whether you just want to get a feel for what this technology might look like in the market. But for now, thank you very much, everybody, and looking forward to the next Bits and Bytes Live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.